Designing a language course involves a lot of things. And in my case, since I've been working with English for Specific Purposes curriculum for a number of years, we have to focus a lot of our attention on the needs analysis, because the needs analysis tells us what we need to do.
Designing a language course involves talking about the needs of the stakeholders. Who needs what and why? What are their goals? What are their parameters? Why do they want this? And having as many conversations with as many people as you possibly can, gathering all that data and then synthesizing it and organizing it into objectives and assessments, and then eventually materials, and revising your materials.
Designing a language course involves understanding the student population that you are writing for. You want to find out if all the students come from the same language background. That means, do they all have the same first language? If they do not, then you might want to think of some different types of activities in your course that may target those differences, particularly when it comes to pronunciation and perhaps some grammar issues. The other important part of designing a language course is making sure that you understand the ability levels of your students. Are they all beginners or all advanced, or is there a mix between the levels? That, of course, really impacts how the course will be designed. If everyone is at the same level, your job will be much easier. You also want to know, of course, how many weeks you are writing curriculum for. This will let you know how quickly you need to proceed through your activities and objectives, which brings to mind the fact that, of course, you must determine at the very beginning the language objectives for your course and how you are going to assess them.
I think that the most important consideration is, how is a person going to use language in the real world? With a language course, it goes so much beyond just memorizing vocabulary or memorizing grammar structures. And particularly, we talk about the ESP arena. It's all about how the person is going to take the language that they learn and transfer it to a real world, whether it's a military operational, or an academic environment, or something like that. So analyzing the language tasks that are going to be expected, the type of discourse, the type of communication that's going to be expected, to me is absolutely fundamental.
Designing a language course involves talking to a lot of people, which are the stakeholders of what you're trying to do, and that's the students and the instructors and the program managers, and then the people that work wherever the students are going. What do they need students to do? And also, designing a language course involves a lot of research into what things students need to be doing, what methodologies are there, what kinds of materials or examples are out there already. You just do a lot of research. Something else, when you're designing a course, you have to do a lot of planning, and that means planning for the materials, planning for how you're going to deliver them, planning for the assessments, and just all different kinds of things. So you have to keep in mind, you have to talk to a lot of people, you have to do a lot of research, and you have to do planning for everything.
Designing a language course involves, I think designing a language course involves a lot of patience and a lot of planning. Patience, because if you're designing a full course, and not just an individual activity, then it's going to take some time. You need to get all the pieces together and into place. You need to have all of your language objectives established and have a clear flow of how things are going to progress throughout whether it's a week or multiple weeks. And it's going to take time, but it all starts. We were just talking recently about how most of your time spent in developing a course is or should be spent in the planning phase, and that begins with the analysis, because really one of the biggest hurdles that you have to jump over is being able to come up with the language objectives that you really want to focus in on during the course. And that takes a lot of research, takes a lot of talking to other people, interviewing other people, and observing other classes, or your target student population, observing them, and figuring out language-wise what they need to, what you need to have in your course so they can be successful when they go to their next training. So yeah, patience and planning and teamwork. You really can't develop a course by yourself. I don't think. I mean, I guess it's possible. I guess people have done that, but you really need to bounce ideas off of other people, and especially if you're new to curriculum development, I would say that you need to surround yourself with, as much as possible, surround yourself with people that have a lot of experience, so that when you bounce ideas off of them, they could give you some valuable feedback that you can incorporate.
I think designing a good language course involves having both a broad vision and very careful attention to details. And you need both. People tend to be strong in one area or the other. You have the visionaries who are very creative at conceptualizing the big picture, and that's important. But sometimes those people are not thinking about the specifics that need to go into the course. On the other hand, you have people that are very good with the details, but they sometimes get lost in those details and fail to see the big picture. So I think when you're designing that language course, you have to have both, or you have to have a team that has thinkers that represent both sides. Otherwise, you may have a great idea that can't be carried out, or you may have a lot of nice details that never quite come together to make a coherent course.